Okay. The chatbot was just playtime. The chatbot was just to prove out a concept and make sure we had a framework for scaling. Where this is, guys, this is where it gets to 11. Now, if you've been keeping up with Domo library and kind of the work I've been doing in Python, you know I've been hacking APIs to like be able to just do whatever I want against the Domo APIs. One of the things that I've done is created the ability to get the definition of a data flow. So in our case, we're looking at the data flow number 12. Let me just pull that up real quick. Oof, I have 6 minutes. I'm going to jump into data flow 12. Okay, and data flow 12 is called the Domo governance data flow. And come on. All right, and it has a series of inputs and outputs, and it does some stuff. Now, this is great, but they don't, nobody wants to generate the description of a data flow. So I thought to myself, wouldn't it be cool if I could use a chatbot to generate the description of the data flow? And that's exactly what we did. But think about it. How are we going to tell our data flow how are we going to tell the chatbot what's happening in the data flow? Well, if I get the data flow by ID, and if I look at my roots, all we're doing is we're hitting the Dataflow's API and just returning that response. I can say, okay, I have the version number, I have the last execution, but the stuff of interest is this Actions tab. So I load data from Vault, I have a group by, I have some outputs. Okay, so stuff happens. So how do I take all of this stuff, some of it's completely superfluous, and pass it to my API? Pass it to my LLM in a way that makes sense. So I wrote a function called process data flow definition. I can read words in the right order. Basically, but what it does is it says, okay, extract the important information from the API response. So the stuff I care about are the ID, the name, and the actions. I'm going to turn that into a dictionary, data flow ID, data flow name, data flow actions, and I'm going to use that as the basis for describing my data flow. I'm going to pass that to the LLM, and the LLM is magically going to do stuff. But how does the LLM know what to do? Remember in our earlier video, we looked at prompts that tell you are a pirate named Rosie. I have a prompt for a data flow, a senior Domo ETL engineer that translates JSON definitions into data transformation processes. Okay, that's the instructions that I'm giving to the LSM. I'm not interested in chat anymore. I'm interested in translating a data flow into a description. Okay. So cool. How do we stitch this all together? We call our endpoint handler. We call LLM describe data flow. I pass in the data flow ID as 12, and the response, just do messages, messages.to.json, generate context. Wrap this in a PD. No, it's not a data frame anymore. Okay, so you are the engineer, blah, blah, blah. I, as the user, passed in, describe the following JSON transformation steps in plain English. Here's the whole thing. And then the LLM returned a response, which was, the JSON describes a Domo governance data flow with ID 12, consisting of 6 transformation steps. Step 1, step 2, step 3. That's plain English. Guys, this is why we use LLMs. But here's the thing. We couldn't just say, hey, Domo, describe this data flow. We had to give it some instructions. We had to start by saying, hey, this is where you get the data flow description from. Then we said, okay, this is the stuff that's interesting in terms of what we use to describe a data flow. And then we had to say, not pirate, and then we had to say, this is your task. Now, to be fair, this prompt I just kind of wrote very quickly, but maybe I'm going to use agentic AI, true agentic AI, that creates an agent that says, hey, here's this prompt, let's refine this prompt. Let's make it better and better. And then, once I get to the model, we stitch it all together. So how do I describe a data flow? First thing I have to do is get the data flow definition. Second thing we do is we reduce the whole definition into the useful data. We then pass that, we generate our LLM messages, which include the instructions that you are a Dataflow engineer. We add a description that says, hey, describe this JSON transformation. Here's the important data, those three key value pairs of interest, describe it in 3 words, pass it to my LLM, and then return the result. Hashtag this is how we data science. The last thing I need to do is just say, hey Domo, I've got this really cool description. Update the Dataflow definition in Domo. Update the AI readiness tag, flag, whatever. Anyway, that's where we're going with this. I hope you guys like this. Goodbye.